There are many people over 60 who are not afraid of swimming. They are only afraid of the feeling of not being able to breathe underwater, a feeling that sends the heart into panic and makes the body lose control. Hello, everyone. If you have ever stepped into a swimming pool hoping to improve your health, but just a few seconds later found yourself gripping the pool wall tightly, your heart racing, your breathing shallow, your mind confused, then you are not alone. Many people at this age think, maybe I'm too old to learn how to swim, or my body just isn't made for the water anymore. But the truth is different. In more than 90% of cases, fear of water does not come from age. It comes from breathing the wrong way. Today, I want to sit here and speak slowly and honestly with you about something very small, your breath, but something that can completely change how you experience being in the water. Before continuing, please leave a comment with the number 1 if you have ever felt afraid, anxious, or panicked when getting into a swimming pool. Why are people over 60 so easily afraid of water? When we pass the age of 60, our bodies no longer function the same way they did at 20 or 30. This is not a bad thing. It is simply a biological reality. Our lungs no longer expand as quickly as before. Our heart responds more slowly to changes in breathing rhythm. Our nervous system, especially the sympathetic nervous system, which controls the fight or flight response, becomes more sensitive to the feeling of low oxygen. In everyday life, this usually isn't a big problem. But once we step into the water, everything changes. Water is an unfamiliar environment. Water pressure presses against the chest. The ears hear a muffled, humming sound. Vision becomes less clear. And most importantly, the face goes underwater. To the brain, this is a very powerful signal. The brain does not analyze things logically the way we expect. It asks only one question. Am I able to breathe right now? If the answer is unclear, the brain switches on the alarm system. That is why so many people say, I'm not afraid of water, but my heart races as soon as I get in. My arms and legs suddenly stiffen. I know the pool is safe, but I still panic. This is not because you are weak. It is not because you lack courage. It is the natural survival response of a body that has lived many years and learned to protect itself. The root cause, breathing wrong, leads to fear of water. I want you to understand one very important thing. The body is not afraid of water. The body is afraid of not getting air. Many beginners, especially older adults, make the same mistake, holding their breath. They put their face in the water and hold it. They believe holding their breath makes them safer. But in reality, the opposite is true. When you hold your breath, the level of carbon dioxide in your blood rises. The brain does not care whether you still have oxygen, it only senses CO2. When CO2 increases, the brain interprets it as danger. Immediately, the heart beats faster. Breathing becomes rapid and shallow, muscles tense up, shoulders rise, the neck stiffens, and within seconds, panic appears. Many studies in respiratory physiology show that. The feeling of suffocation does not come from a lack of oxygen, but from the inability to exhale. This is the key point that very few beginner swimmers are clearly taught. The golden rule: exhale underwater, inhale above water. If you remember only one sentence from this entire video, remember this. Underwater, you exhale. Above water, you inhale. Never hold your breath. When you slowly exhale underwater, your body receives 3 safety signals at the same time. First, the lungs gradually empty. This prepares them to inhale gently when you lift your head. Second, the nervous system recognizes, I am in control of my breathing. When breathing is controlled, the brain slowly turns off panic signals. Third, when you exhale, the body naturally relaxes. The shoulders drop, the neck softens, tension fades. Many swimming instructors who work with older adults in the United States agree on one thing. If a student overcomes their fear of water, 80% of it comes from learning how to breathe correctly. Dry breathing practice, mental preparation before entering the water. Before getting into the pool, I always recommend becoming familiar with your breathing on land. No equipment needed, no gym required, just a chair. Sit upright, feet firmly on the floor. Place one hand gently on your belly and the other on your chest. Inhale through your nose for about 2 seconds. No need to inhale deeply, just enough to feel your belly slightly expand. Then exhale slowly through your mouth, taking twice as long as the inhale. As you exhale, imagine you are gently blowing on a candle. Not enough to extinguish the flame, just enough to make it flicker. When you do this, your heart rate slows. The parasympathetic nervous system, the system that helps the body relax, begins to activate. Respiratory doctors call this controlled breathing, a technique commonly used in heart and lung rehabilitation for older adults. If dry breathing feels comfortable, then when you enter the water, your body will no longer feel unfamiliar with that breathing rhythm. Breathing practice in the water, absolutely safe. When you enter the pool, you do not need to swim. I want to emphasize this. You do not need to swim. Stand in shallow water. Hold onto the pool wall firmly with both hands. Feel the cool water. Feel your body being supported. Inhale gently, then slowly lower your face into the water and exhale through your nose. You will see bubbles rise. That is a very good sign. It shows that you are exhaling, not holding your breath. When you run out of air, lift your head and inhale slowly. No rush, no pressure. Repeat this many times. At first, the brain will remain alert, but after just a few minutes, you will realize something very important. I'm not sinking. I can still breathe. That is the moment when fear begins to dissolve. Signs that you are on the right path. When you breathe correctly, your body gives very clear signals. The heart no longer races. The shoulders no longer lift every time your face goes underwater. The neck becomes softer. And most importantly, the urge to constantly lift your head disappears. Many people describe this moment in a very similar way. Suddenly, the water didn't feel so scary anymore. That is not because the water changed. It is because your breathing changed. Things you should absolutely not do. I want to say this sincerely. At this age, we do not need to prove anything to anyone. No need to compare ourselves to younger people. No need to push the body beyond its limits. Never hold your breath underwater. Do not practice when you feel tired, dizzy, or anxious. Do not force yourself to swim before you are comfortable with breathing. If you are over 60 and once believed that swimming was no longer for you, I hope this video has given you a different perspective. Water is not your enemy. Your body has not betrayed you. It is simply that your breathing was never guided the right way before. When you learn how to breathe, fear naturally steps back. And when fear steps back, the body remembers the remarkable ability to adapt that it has always had. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to Vital Health Hub and join me on a journey toward healthier, safer, and more confident living at any age.